Okay, live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this impromptu live stream. I'll just wait for a few people to join because I want to talk to you about Stephen Manning being arrested and jailed today for 3 months. We're going to chat with somebody who was in the court, who saw what happened firsthand. So basically, just to give you a little bit of context, or what we'll do is I'll bring in Dave Egan first. Dave was in the court there. Dave is currently with Danny. Danny is Stephen's son. And for anyone who doesn't know, Stephen Manning is the administrator of the Integrity Ireland platform. So let me just bring in Dave Egan here, who's in the court. Hello, Dave. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
Great stuff. Thanks. So, Dave, you're going to tell us what happened firsthand today in the court, in Clifton Court. And there was a little bit of messing around. Now, there was a video that Stephen Manning, a live stream that Stephen Manning did this morning at about midday before we went into court. And he was concerned that there was something going down. So I'm going to just play the first 2 or 3 minutes of this just to let people know. And then, Dave, you'll come and maybe tell us what happened, okay?
All right.
Good man. Bear with me now for a second. Let's see if we can organize this. All right. Okay, so I'll just mute you there, Dave, but you'll be on screen.
7 minutes past 12 on Tuesday, the 27th of June. Those of you that are following the story, last night I put a video up explaining that we'd received 3 notifications. Here's the original notification. This was supposed to be Galway court on Thursday. All of a sudden, this scrap of paper was put through my door at an unregistered address, okay, unsigned, no indicators whatsoever where it came from. Another one, I got a text telling me to be here as well, allegedly from a guard. And finally, this also went to another address. As you can see, nothing official on here whatsoever. It's not court service headed note paper, there's no signature, there's no date. So I suspected that there was something suspicious afoot. And already it's been confirmed that there was something suspicious afoot because we got here. We were here about 11:15, only about 15 minutes after the due time, but we'd advised them in advance by email that we were going to possibly be late because I'm a full-time carer for my son Danny. But anyway, we did pretty well. We got here. There was another case already being heard. The long and the short of it was, I wasn't standing at the entrance more than about 5 minutes when a guard, I won't name him because I believe he was trying his best to be cordial and respectful, but the guard who sent me the text to be here today walked up to me and introduced himself, apologised for not getting back to me on the messages I've sent to the phone. Nobody answered, right? But he's come all the way, I will say where he's come from, he's come all the way from Kilchima in County Mayo. Now that's a roughly 2 hours drive to get here. The question has to be asked, what was he doing here when none of the opposition witnesses have turned up? None of them. Now, as we speak, apparently the barrister, we went in, then my case was called. I urged the people, a few members of the public outside, come on in. The guards are trying to make it a sort of a private, when I say trying to, if you've got a case, an appeal case, you can come into the courts now. And I say, yes, and all members of the public. And he says it again, if you've got yes, and all members of the public. Why? Because it's supposed to be a public courtroom. This is an attempt, I believe, to try and confine the case to as few witnesses as possible. Okay, we've got a couple of friends here with us today, so at least we won't be alone in there. But anyway, as we speak, apparently, there is a convoy of witnesses on the way over here. Why aren't they here? Why have I gotten 3 notifications telling me to be here at 10:30 this morning, but none of the opposition are here? Again, I'll tell you it's because I suspect, and I think this evidence proves it, none of them expected me to be here today. I was supposed to either ignore these or, as a friend suggested, it's possible that they knew that it was unlikely I could have gotten here by this morning. I won't go into details with that, guys, but let's say I was elsewhere, and it's only by chance and happenstance that we were able to get here this morning the way that we have done. I believe the plan was to have the matter adjourned again for another 2 or 3 months. Just, again, try to run us, to exhaust us, to frustrate us, and maybe eventually I'll get run over by a bus or something, and they'll never have to air these materials. So anyway, just to give you a brief update, guys, we'll wait and see what happens later. Judge James O'Donoghue, the senior circuit court judge in the country under the president of the circuit court, is here. Apparently, he's only been here once before, or so I was told by a court service manager. So this is unusual that we would have the very most senior circuit court judge dealing with this case here today. I don't know of any other special cases that are on. I do believe that he's been sent out here especially to, let's say, deal with this in the manner that is least embarrassing to the system.
Okay, so we leave that there. So it sounds like, from what Stephen is saying, Judge James O'Donoghue was brought in to do a job today. Dave, if the link goes down, by the way, if you lose us, just re-click that link and you'll be able to join us again.
Right.
So, in your own words, tell us what happened today. You went there. Tell us. Go on.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Yeah, I actually filmed Stephen there. I filmed him there outside the court. And the witnesses didn't turn up. The Gardaí didn't turn up. The only person that turned up was the judge, and to hear other cases, and Stephen Manning. Now, what Stephen told me was that, he was told at the last minute. Apparently, the witnesses were probably not informed about it. So, the case is not supposed to go ahead at all today.
Just to let people know. Just to let people know, Dave, what this case was. So this was an appeal that Stephen Manning had. He was found guilty of assault. Isn't that right? Of the court, the court services manager in Castlebar. His name is Peter Mooney. Now he's since moved on from there. Now, I've actually seen that video footage of this alleged assault. I don't know if you've seen it, but just let me describe it to people. If people know Castlebar Courthouse, upstairs where the office is. And there's a little sliding door there, and all the office staff are inside. So Stephen was speaking with, obviously, Mr. Mooney inside, and he was getting, I presume, worked up about something. I know he's had lots of difficulty there with Mr. Mooney in the past and with court services staff. But I mean, the assault that I saw was literally, he maybe moved his head a couple of inches closer to the window and was a little bit agitated in his body language, very slightly, there was no contact. You couldn't see any major aggression or anything like that. That's what I saw. I don't know if you've seen that video clip, but that's what he was found guilty of, and he was here today to appeal that.
That's correct. He was found guilty of a minor assault in a court in Mayo, district court there. Now, it's very minor. It's the lowest form of assault that can be found guilty of. I don't know, Section 2 or Section 3. It's one of them anyways. So, very, very minor. Now, there was no assault. The video showed that, as you correctly pointed out. There was no lifting of Stephen's fist up to the man, or lifting his hand up to the man to attempt to assault him or to threaten him in any way. What there was a heated exchange, an argument between two people. And Stephen just wanted to be served by the man. He wanted to get papers off him to do another case, right? Now, it was just a simple argument. There was no criminal offence. I mean, if they start punishing people for ordinary arguments, should they be arrested in jail nearly everybody in Ireland? So basically, there was lies told about Stephen in the district court, right? So, and that video was not played in district court. According to the prosecution, it was corrupted. It couldn't be played. I believe it was deliberately corrupted. But Stephen got possession of that disc eventually from the DPP and the Gardaí, and that disc was played in court today, right? Now, at first the judge refused this evidence because it hadn't been introduced to the district court. But as the court case dragged on and as cross-examination of witnesses occurred, right, especially of Mr. Mooney and Mr. Garda Fleming, became apparent that these people were lying in court, right? And Steve was adamant that this had occurred. So therefore, when Stephen was cross-examining, I think it was Garda Fleming, he demanded the video be played, right? So the judge relented and had the video played in court. And the video was played in front of many people in court, including the judge and Fleming. And it was easily seen that at no stage did Stephen lift his fist up to the Mr. Mooney or threaten him or lift his hand up to him. But according to the witness statement and according to the Garda Fleming statement, either he lifted his hand up or fist up to Mr. Mooney. So the judge accepted that was an untruth. I mean, he didn't say it was a lie. He said it was an inconsistency and an untruth. But that's a polite way of saying that the person was lying in court, right? So Stephen won on those points, right, in court. And so we thought we were going to win the case at this stage. Then a Garda sergeant, a person was a Garda sergeant at that time, but a Garda superintendent now, came up and she gave evidence, right? Now she didn't see any of that event that occurred at the time, so she didn't testify as to the assault. But she testified that she got into an argument with Stephen, right, over Stephen claiming that she had lied in the past, right? And he was upset by that. So it was a dispute between two people over a lie which was told in the past. And but she did point out that Stephen apologized to her later outside the court, and they went their separate ways. So they basically, there was no criminal offence committed. I mean, Stephen had apologized for what was called a misunderstanding, right? The two people have two different points of view, right? They argue, and the person apologizes and goes away. So technically there's no criminal offence committed, right? But the judge decided to convict Stephen on that charge, right? Even though the appeal case itself had nothing to do with that charge. The appeal was strictly to do with the assault charge and conviction of Peter Mooney. I mean, so that was overthrown. Stephen was found innocent of that charge, right? The judge said there was inconsistencies and untruths in the injured party's statements in court and what he wrote down, and also in Garda Fleming's statement of what he said in court. So he basically said the two of them were lying in court, right? And it was obvious because the video evidence proved that, right? Now, what he did, so he couldn't get him on that. So myself and Stephen thought we won. We actually technically won. He won the appeal at that stage because the appeal had to do with overturning the conviction. The conviction was the assault, the alleged assault, which took place in Peter Mooney. So he'd won, and Stephen started cleaning up his stuff, and I was prepared to go home, and so was I. And next thing he said, on the second charge, he invented a second charge in the circuit court that occurred 6 years ago. That it was 6 years ago to, this year, right? That this occurred, right? And it was basically an argument between him and a vanguard over whether she's a liar or not, right? That's a very philosophical argument as to whether a person is a liar or not, So he got done on that. He decided to do him on that charge, even though it had nothing to do with the appeal case. Absolutely nothing. It was totally separate.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were going to do Stephen on that, they should have done him on that in the district court, right? Brought up in the district court and charge and tried to convict him on that. But instead, they tried to do him on the appeal. They brought this thing up on the appeal. I mean, he was not convicted of that in the district court. He was only convicted of the assault. Basically, court procedure has been broken here.
Yeah, absolutely. What was this? So, as far as Stephen knew, and as far as yourself, as far as you both were aware, that the charge was an assault charge. You were appealing an assault conviction.
It was an assault charge and conviction, right?
Yeah,
so, there was a conviction in the district court, right? But there was no conviction for insulting a guard or a public order offence.
Yeah.
There was no conviction for a public order offence in the district court, right? So that was not being appealed because there was no conviction. Right. The only thing which was being appealed was the assault. That's it. It should have been settled there and then. He was found innocent. He should have been let walk. And on top of that, two people actually committed perjury in court today. Garda Fleming committed perjury, and Peter Mooney, the so-called injured party, he committed perjury in court today. They should be arrested and they should be jailed.
Is this Garda Tom Fleming? Is it?
Garda Tom Fleming, that's the man. Yeah.
Well, I've actually had an encounter with Tom Fleming in the past, maybe eight odd years ago in Castlebar Courthouse, where he arrested me. I wasn't allowed into a court case, and in the lobby there of the court, he was arguing his point where I wasn't allowed in, and I kind of gave up. I was frustrated, and I said, F this, in kind of, I was giving up. I was like, F this, And that was it. And he grabs me and he goes, "You're under arrest." For what? For Section 6, threatening, abusive and insulting behaviour. And that court case dragged on for months. I was in front of the district court judge maybe 5 or 6 times representing myself until I finally won. I had Tom Fleming, in the stand and asked him the word F, I'm not going to say it, F this. Were you threatened or insulted by that? I was. And he went on with that. I was like, you're in the wrong profession if that's the case. But they took my camera off me that day and my dictaphone. And they literally rang me about 6 weeks ago saying, "Oh, we have your camera here and your dictaphone if you want to get it." And I was like, "For what?" I forgot all about it. It took them the guts of 8 years to return that. So I have history with Tom Fleming. I know the way some of these guys operate. So as far as you know, did that other charge of Section 6, threatening, abusive or insulting language or behaviour, did that come up first time around in the district court?
I don't believe it did, but I don't believe it was raised in the district court, right? But he wasn't convicted. The important thing, he was not convicted of a public order offence in district court, right? And if it was brought up in district court, there wasn't enough evidence to convict him of a public order offence, right? And the judge didn't see fit to convict him of a public order offence in district court. So now the whole thing's been invented. They've invented a new charge today and a new conviction to jail Stephen Manning. It's outrageous. I mean, the appeal was specifically to do with assault. They should have stuck to the court procedures. Just deal with the appeal for the assault, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I think is that I think he was sent in there to do a job. Okay, you know what I mean. I won't say too much now.
That's Judge James O'Donoghue, Circuit Court judge that you can see on the screen there now. I'm not sure where he's actually based. Maybe someone in the comments might know.
I think he's based in Galway.
He's based in Galway, is he? Right. So that's it sounds absolutely crazy, and it's great you were there to witness that firsthand and let everybody know. So from here, look at Danny. I can see Danny with you there. How are you, Danny?
Danny, hello.
Oh, hi.
Good man, Danny. Danny is Stephen's son.
Danny was sitting there, yeah.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Steve.
Is that your Man United jersey on you?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it. Danny's a big Man United fan. He's a great fella. And you were in the court today with your dad, and I'm sure you'll see your dad very soon. It's crazy, terrible what happened. Your dad's a great man, isn't he? You love your dad.
Well, actually, my dad loved my mom, so actually, my mom's not here.
We know that. Yeah, you're a lovely mom.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now, Dave? Just tell us, because you.
Yeah, well, I received instructions.
Danny will be left over if you weren't there today.
Yeah, but if I wasn't there today, Danny would be taken into care.
That's unbelievable.
So I was there to take care of Danny, and I told the judge that. And then I was on the Garda station. I went to the Garda station. I signed a form saying I take care of Danny, and I told Stephen I take care of Danny, take him back to Galway. But we're going to bring him back to Christina and some friends of Stephen Manning in Dublin, right? The friends of the family.
Mm-hmm. So
we're going to have them take care of Danny now. Now Christina's well experienced in taking care of Danny.
Yeah, Christina's.
There's also a church in Dublin as well. They're associated with, and they'll be able to take care of Danny also. So
yeah.
I was given strict instructions to sort that out immediately, so I did that. But what we're going to do next now is try and get bail and an appeal to the High Court. And there's other people that are working the habeas corpus.
Yeah. So can you tell us?
From bail.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and what sort of time frame are we looking at?
Well, the bail, if he gets bail tomorrow, right? Well, it might be €1,200 or more. We get bail on pending an appeal to the High Court, right? Now, in the High Court, we're going to bring up the issues that occurred today, all the breaches of the court procedures, the breaches of the Constitution, the breaches of law, the whole lot, right? And we'll get him out on that basis, right?
Rory wants to talk to you.
And then we'll what else we do? The habeas corpus then is it'd be under Article 40 of the Constitution. We can get him out of jail there, and the High Court will make a decision as to whether he should be held or not. That's separate, like to an appeal, right? And we're going to do both. just in case one doesn't work. If the habeas corpus doesn't work, we'll do an appeal directly to the High Court on points of law, right? And several laws have been broken and several court procedures have been broken.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm an eyewitness to what occurred, you know, and I know the law fairly well, and I know exactly where they went wrong, you know. So, you know, I have no problem calling them out, you know.
Can you loop me in on that habeas corpus application?
Yeah.
Good man,
Can
Dave.
you email me there, or you have my phone number, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to thank you.
All
right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm delighted to hear you taking a habeas
a friend of the family is here.
Colin is my name.
Call him, yeah. Just call him, yeah.
Good man yourself.
Pedro Stevens, and we're going to look after him until Christine is just away for a couple of days, so we're going to look after him.
Yeah.
Fair.
So thanks, lads and ladies, for the habeas corpus particularly. Will you keep me looped in on that, please? Yeah, you have my phone number.
I do, yeah.
Davis, yeah. And Godspeed you. Best of luck. If you're talking to Stephen tomorrow, because I know he doesn't have his phone, just tell him not to worry. Danny will be fine.
Yeah. But you specifically asked if you take care of him, Christina.
Thank you very much for that. I rang the Garda station, and I was afraid that he would be taken into care before I got down from town. So I'm very grateful that you.
Well, you had to do it as fast as possible because the way these people operate, they move Tuzla and the care people in right away.
Yeah.
And these people don't take care of
Could have
people.
been part of the plan too, you know.
I mean, we all know, we've all seen what happened with these so-called care agencies, you know.
Oh yeah. No.
Listen, so I'll say nothing.
All right.
But
All right.
keep me looped in on the
I just
habeas
have to get
corpus.
some of the
will
stuff.
you have my
Do
card.
you want to hold on a minute or two? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up now. I'll just for people that want to keep in touch of what's going on, maybe I'll post something on the Integrity Ireland page over the next day or two, or if you have any news, you get in touch with me and we can do another live or something like this. Or what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I'll keep you posted. At the moment now, the Stephen's phone has been given over to Danny for possession, right? So, but I posted a bit on the Integrity Ireland page about what happened, so it'll update people what's going on, you know.
Okay.
Now, so there's a good bit of work to be done now over the next 24 hours, right, in relation to habeas corpus and the bail and getting an appeal up to the High Court. You know, there's a lot of extra pressure on us now, you know.
Yeah.
But we got one thing sorted now, anyways. We got Danny. You know, he's going to be taken care of now in the next few hours, you know, for the next few months. And hopefully we can work on getting Stephen Manning out of jail, you know, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Now, my interest is addressing the injustices there today, right? We'll need to bring in criminal charges against people who lie in court, and we're going to pursue that angle. And I'll be witness to the fact. And I've taken enough now of liars and perjurers here in this country, and we're going to start hunting them down. And if any judge or any person gets in our way, we'll bring them into court as well, and we'll hunt them in court. You know, and, you know, we're going to put an end to this nonsense once and for all in this country. And I've seen an awful lot of corruption. I mean, I've seen more corruption than I see most people alive today. You know, and it's there. It needs to be rooted out. And that's we're going to. This will be the start, I believe, of a lot of stuff that's going to happen. You know, the next few months. You know.
Well, that's just it, Dave. If this hate speech legislation comes in, you know.
Well, we can overturn that. I mean, I fully intend that we'll overturn that legislation, but we're going to have to get people elected first, our own people.
Yeah.
And we just basically have to start going door to door now, campaigning in every county, maybe run as independents, and then maybe have an alliance of independents, right? And this alliance of independents would work to form governments at local level and national level and root out the corruption, you know. It'll have to be rooted out, and there are ways of doing that. There are policies out there that can work, but we have to get down to business, like in relation to winning over the ordinary people, because a lot of us are in an echo chamber, right, online. We need to go out there and win the ordinary people over and do door to door stuff, you know, canvassing. That's what we need to do. We need to win politically, in order to get rid of this legal system. This legal system, court system, is totally rotten. Needs to be replaced. And the only viable way to do that is politically, through winning in the elections, winning at the polls, and bringing in a new system. To totally replace this system, get rid of it totally. Because a person would be foolish to think you could get justice in the courts of this country. Very, very foolish. There are hatchet judges who are put in there to do a job, and there are hatchet Gardaí as well, as you well know, and they're there doing a job as well. And they're there to shut people down and to create more injustices, much more. And but this hate speech legislation can be overturned, right? But it'll be done by political means, right? In addition to legal means, we need, and there's a lot of work cut out for us all, I think, over the next few months. For all of us, we have to put a lot of effort in.
Yeah, Dave. Listen, I'll leave it there for this evening. I just wanted to get on, do a quick live stream with an update. Fair play to you today. Well done for being there and for being able to inform us what happened, and keep us up to date over the next day or so as to how things are going, and we'll post any updates we have here.
Yeah.
Well
yeah,
done.
we'll do that. Well, thanks for your time, Stephen.
Well done. Thank you, Dave. Take care.
All right. See you. Okay. Bye.
All right, everyone. We'll leave it there for now. And if we have any more updates, we'll let you know tomorrow or as soon as we hear anything. All right. Take care, folks.